Okay, so today we're going to see about what is open source government explained. Okay, before this we will see what is open source software and closed source software, because if we clear the open source software and closed source, then you can get everything right. In previous lecture, so we have defined the difference between open source and closed source. See again here now. Open source software is distributed under the different types of license, like as LGPL, GNU, and BSD. Then it is a fully functional version of the software with the unlimited amount of option is available to use. But in closed source software, some closed source software is distributed as shareware. Okay, so here it is a fully functional version of the software, but either with the limited amount of option are available to use it. Means in closed source some limited amount of options are there to you can use it. Means open source you can easily use, you can easily modify, you can easily share. Means everyone can use it, but in closed source only authorized person can use it. We can study the software, right? So there is a no limitation to set period of time in open source, but in closed source there is a limitation to the set period of the time. After that, software will be automatically disabled. Means they given the limit time. After this limit, it will be disabled. Okay, this is the difference of open source and closed source, which we have seen in my previous lecture, right? Okay, so today's topic is about open source government. Okay, so let's move on to new topic. ओके, फिर इसके बाद दो तीन पॉइंट्स के बाद हम लोग ओपन सोर्स या क्लोज सोर्स के द हेल्प ऑफ दिस सॉफ्टवेयर वी विल सी द प्रैक्टिकल आल्सो. ओके, नाउ मूव ऑन. ओपन सोर्स government. Okay, so here let me do 1 minute. Open source government. So today's topic is this. Okay, now let's see. It refers this open source government. It refers to use open source software in government organization, and it is optional. Operation means like government or software refer to use, because as per the name you can see open source government. So which one is example? Example. Okay, now maybe you get the point. So it referred to use open source software in government organization and its operation. Example, voting. Okay, you know very well. Example is voting. Open government structure includes public support. Okay, open government structures include the public support and ensures like use of software by actual ruling government. This structure as well as developed specially in the UK and USA. Means this type of structure is mostly used in UK and USA. Okay. Then open source government is also known as the open policy. The open source government is also known as this government is also known as what? Open source policy. Open policy. Politics. Sorry, open politics. Okay. So you know now open source is what? It's mostly this open source structure is mostly used in UK and USA, and this open source is 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so now I said about open source. This structure is used in UK and USA, and it's also known as like open source, open politics. Okay, so here what I said here, this term is used to describe the political process which uses internet technology. Like, okay, this term is used as a political process. This term is uses like blogs. Okay, then you can say email. The example of this. email to provide blogs and email to provide for speedy feedback mechanism between the political government and process, which are similar to open source movement, you can say. There are exhaustive array of project and movement which are working on making open source government system. So here open source governs much aspect of the free software and open content movement. You know now very well about free software, right? So some models are extremely more practical than like Wikipedia, and you can say integrate level of controls in any event. The idea is stabilize the fixed introductive potential of how open source system can merge with government. There are many benefits of using open source governments. Okay, let's see. Open source governments having many benefits. Let's see, let's discuss these benefits. 1 minute. Okay, so let's discuss. First one you can say flexibility is the first one benefits. Okay, flexibility is the first one benefit. So in this, what happens? In flexibility, it gives the flexibility product. Okay, it gives the product flexibility to product, adding to or modifying the code to fit their requirement or needs. Means as per the requirement, as per the need, they can you can use it, modify it. So flexibility here it means it gives the flexibility. So here in flexibility, we can say that it gives the flexibility product, adding to or modify the code to fit their requirement or needs. Then second, you can say that, let's see, next benefit is, 1 minute, affordability. Okay, let's see here. Okay, in this affordability. Okay, let's see in this. So in this, open source software is usually available at much lower price than any commercial product. Means here open source software is usually available. Open in these affordabilities, open source software is mostly available. Okay, then third one is high quality. So the benefit is high quality. The benefit of open source government here, high quality is there. Okay, so in high quality, the government can be guarantee of high quality defined by good testing and code review. If the open system is supported by a strong developer association, okay, there is here means what government can be guaranteed of high quality. Then access to explain labor here. Fourth advantages here, benefit is access to expire. Okay, access to expire experience. Sorry, access to experience. Experience labor means here labor co experience labor they include here. So in that 1 minute. Okay, so here using open source system may unlock expand based purpose IT talent to govern energies. So these are the benefit of open source government. Now next point is about no experience ethics of open source. Okay, this is a open source government, you know very well. Voting id you, so it's the voting the government through you, sorry, public through you hota hai, right? So it is an example of open source, and open source is also called as a open politics, right? So here we can see the blogs, email, Wikipedia. So we have seen the benefit of these like flexibility, affordability, high quality, and access to experience label. Now open source ethics here. After this, we're going to see open source open source ethics. Okay, so what is the open source ethics here? Let's move on in this. Okay, so in open source ethics, there are some people who consider that open source software is a somehow close prefer to close source software, right? Some people is prefer that the open source software is a to close source software, like Richard Stallman is one of them. The main reason behind the success of open source is not not the formal determination of machinery industry of Stallman and others, but more radius factor called a in any industry something is a product if it is generally available from many suppliers. For example, if bread is a product and there is a tea bag and kettle. The kettle is a one interesting case because kettle come in varieties of shapes, colors, and also size. But you are going to be slow to waste too much on the kettle, right? Because you know that at least they all can do the same thing, which is to boil the water. And the last point is hard. You can make money by selling product, but not very much, because if you try to pay a premium, someone else quickly undercut you. There is a process of custom accommodation that happens in software also. Ethics is about right and wrong. So ethics is about right and wrong to judge the human action as properly good or bad. Means in this ethics software, right and wrong, and you can say is used to judge the human's action as properly good or bad, right? Ethics includes a universal component. The difference are not only individual but also cultural. Okay, so in this the quality concerns it one of the ethical issue in software developer or user mind. So quality concern some ethical issues. What? Let's see this. Some ethical issue in software. Some ethical issue in software. Okay, let's see what this. Okay, is available from at here. First one uh, is available from at least from at least one source without cost. Okay, one source, 1 minute, for at least one source without cost. Means it, like a issue they are asking is available from the from at least one source without cost. This one first one. Then second is it can be used in non-profit. It can be used can be used in it can be used in non-profit, then as well as commercial development. Okay, non-profit as well as commercial development. Then third, it can be obtained in source code from. Okay, third one is what it can be. Okay, then non-profit, then it can be obtained. Okay, it can be obtained. It can be obtained in source code. In source code. Source code from. Okay, so this type of some issue which are the ethical issue, and you know now ethical issue in ethical open source they decide, yeah, they judge the humans actions bad or good. I given the example of tea bag and kettle is having many varieties, right? So okay, then above are some expansion from software. Some ethical concern are as follow. So digital rights management, some concerns for need to be follow. Okay, software, some ethical concern are need to be followed. Let's see this concern. Some ethical are need to be follow. Okay, need to be follow. So let's see this one. Need to be not WBW. It need to be follow. let's move on this concern. Okay, so maybe first one is what digital rights management. The first one is digital rights management. Rights management. Then second one is intellectual property in the area of open source. Okay, intellectual properties, properties, yeah, property in the of open source. Okay, then third one is the open source security testing methodology. The open source security, the open source security, security, the open source security in the area of the open source security testing. Okay, the open source security testing methodology. Okay, then last one is the politics of open source adoption. Okay, politics of open source production. Okay, just 1 minute. So these are the benefits of this. Let me 1 minute. I want to explain you some practical points. Just let me check is there here or not. No. 1 minute. Okay, leave then. We will see in my next session only. Uh, okay. So okay. So okay, not there. Okay. Okay. So जब हम लोगों को open source okay. So when we have to move on our open source software. So we have to see. Okay, just 1 minute. Here recording. Okay, so see here. यहाँ पे एक वेम सर्वर है जो कि जिसमें हम लोगों को प्रैक्टिकल देखने हैं कुछ कि एक मतलब आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू आइडिया अबाउट प्रैक्टिकल्स कि दिस इज टाइप ऑफ सॉफ्टवेयर विच वी हैव टू यूज हियर. ओके, सो आप जो भी यहाँ पे सॉफ्टवेयर देख रहे हैं कुछ फ्री सॉफ्ट से बिलोंगिंग है तो कुछ ओपन सोर्स राइट लाइक दिस. सो वेम सर्वर ये सॉफ्टवेयर है जो कि जिससे हम लोगों को हाउ वी कैन इंस्टॉल द मेनी ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम इन वन डेस्कटॉप. So we will see in our practical session. Okay, so you know very well this software is we are using in computer organization. Okay, so in next session मतलब हम लोग practical and सब कुछ देखेंगे. So okay. Minute. So in the social and financial impact of open source technology here, it many countries, especially the financial demanding, are still regarding software and the hardware technology. There are 3 countries which are the technological developing: India, South Korea, and China. The impact of the open source software on developing countries are various ways. Some of positive impact are as follow: flexibility of software and cost saving. So safe. Okay, so this type of software नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में हम लोग या हम लोग अभी वन प्रैक्टिकल चेक करेंगे लाइक इन मतलब वेबसाइट का प्रैक्टिकल. देन वी विल सी द social and financial impact of open source, then share software and share source. Okay. Okay.